Hey guys, what's going on? Manchie's here, and I'm about to bring you my first ever YouTube video. So sit back, enjoy, hopefully you learn something new. If you do enjoy the video, please drop a like and a subscribe on the YouTube channel. There's going to be many more videos to come soon, I promise, all with different things to do with Smite and possibly other games in the future. And if you do enjoy the stream, please feel free to check out my Twitch. I do try and stream as often as possible. My schedule is on the bottom of that page when I guarantee you I will be online, and let's just get right to it from there. So today I want to talk to you about hunter builds for the current meta, because there's four that I really want to look at. Some maybe you haven't seen before, and we'll see what best suit your playstyle, suits best my playstyle, and what I think will work for everybody. So first off, let's break the gods down into two categories of gods. There's auto attack based gods and there's ability based gods. So I'm just going to break them in two because that's the best way to look at them, and this is the best way to think about it when you're building into one of these gods. So first are the auto attack based gods. The auto attack based gods are Anhur, Apollo, sometimes Artemis. I consider her an auto attack based god because of her steroid. Some other people build her differently because of mana usages. I'll get into that in a little bit. Who use auto attack based? Rama and Xbalanque. Now these are the auto attack based gods, and this is what I would build their builds every time I build them. It doesn't matter, except for maybe Xbalanque and Artemis because of mana issues. But on her, Apollo, Hu Yi, and Rama, I will always build this build every time no matter what. So let's take a look at what that is. So the first thing you're going to want to build is Death's Toll, stage 1 of Devo's Gauntlets, and 1 health pot. Death's Toll just gives you a little bit of physical power to help you clear lane, that's why you're building that, along with sustain through the 6 health per auto attack. Devo's Gauntlets just gives you life steals just to get you started in the build, and the health pot is for sustain. So what you're looking for to this build is you're not going to look to really win the lane. What you're looking for is to just survive, because you're building towards the late game. You're building towards to be that very powerful hunter in the late game to not die, and this will help you get there. But unfortunately, your early game is going to suffer for it. So just look to do autos. Don't run out of mana. It's very important. You don't want to get ganked, and just sort of play cautious, but play smart. So the first thing you're going to want to build after that is Devourer's Gauntlets. Devourer's Gauntlets give you 25 physical power and 10% lifesteal right off the start. So it's not a huge power spike, even in comparison to Boots. Boots will give you a bigger power spike than this, but you want to start stacking as quick as possible because you have to stack a maximum of 75 stacks. Once you're at full stacks, the gloves give you a total of 55 power and 25% lifesteal. So it's quite powerful once you're done. Right after this, I go into Warrior's Tabby. The reason why I build into Warrior's Tabby is it gives you the 40 physical power, which will aid you to clear lane faster. It'll help you kill minions off faster. It will do a little bit more damage, your autos, and things along those lines. Your other option is you could always build Ninja Tabby, but you end up losing about half the power for 15% attack speed, and at that point in the game what you're still looking to do is to clear the wave, so I'm not really focused on that. I more so look at the Warrior Tabby. After Warrior Tabby, I built into Ichaival. Ichaival's a very cheap and cost efficient item. What it does is it gives you not only 30% attack speed but physical penetration, and this is important really just to do more damage on your opponent because you do start off with a little bit of physical protection right off the bat, and that will eliminate it, and the passive is super important. So after every basic attack that you hit, you will gain 30 physical power, and while you're hitting the enemy will lose 30 physical power. Sorry, it will reduce the target's physical power from items by 10. So yeah, you're going to gain power and they're going to lose power. So it's really going to, when it comes down to dueling in lane, so just 1v1 hunter things, this will be a very powerful item for you, and it'll hopefully allow you to win lane. As long as you hit your autos, you'll be good, and that's what you should be doing on auto attack based gods. After Ichaival, at this point you're going to be moving into the mid part of the game. This is when the team fights are going to start going on. This is when fights for gold for you are going to start happening. Fights maybe in the middle lane, maybe even around mid camps, you never know. So the thing you want to build after this will be the Executioner. The reason why you're building Executioner is it actually reduces the physical protection on the enemy. So people who are building Guardians, or maybe a tanky solo or a tanky jungle, the Executioner will really help you melt through their defenses and allow you to do real damage to them and be a real threat. With that Executioner, you're Really, if you come up against a Sylvanas or a Geb or whatever you come up against in terms of Guardians, they're just not going to care about you and they're just going to walk right through you. After Executioner, there's two different ways you can go, and this is where it comes down. This really changed in the meta, and this is where it's going to come down to what you build. If you're going to be against a team that has a lot of squishies, so what I mean by that is obviously the hunter on the other team is going to be a squishy. The mid laner is generally a squishy. It's like a Poseidon or an Isis or something like that. Something you can take out quite easily with your autos. And also depending what their jungle and their solo lane are. If their jungle is something squishy, like for example a Serket, and their solos are raw, then you're going to want to build into Rage and then into Executioner. This will just allow you to just straight up melt through their damage. You'll be critting them insanely hard. You'll probably kill them in 4 to 5 autos, tops. It will just help you melt through their team and move on forward like that. This is just the general build. This used to be the meta build for everyone, but it's changed a little bit since then. So where this might change is, for example, if their jungle's a Bellona and their solo is a Herc and their support is, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter, all supports are generally going to be tanky. You don't really want to build into crit items. The reason why you don't want to build into crit items is that you're just not going to get a lot out of it. You don't crit people who have a lot of protections and stuff like that at all. What you really want to build into after this, it's really flexible actually, depending on the gold, if you're head, things like that. But generally what I like to build is right here, is kin size. The reason why you build in kin size is on attacks, on basic attacks, excuse me, you'll do physical damage equal 4% of the total health pool. So crits aren't going to have much of effect, but when you're hitting for 4% of a Guardian's total health pool, you will chunk them very quick and very efficiently, and that will help you melt through the front line, which are really going to stick to you really, really hard. So you need to be killing them as fast as possible. Maybe you still want more penetration after that, go into Titan's Bane. Again, just choose through them quicker. Maybe you feel you're comfortable after that. It's all a feel out what you think will be best. But if you're building against a very heavy front line that are going to build a lot of physical defense, this is going to be the build for you. If not, and you're building against squishies, just go for the basic Rage and Deathbringer. You can't really go wrong with it. You'll crit them really hard. They'll die really fast. You'll win team fights. Okay. The second build, which is probably the most popular build at the start of the meta for the fall split, is the Transcendence build, and that's building right into Transcendence as your first item. So the gods you want to do that on are ability-based gods. So it's gods that are going to use a lot of abilities to clear lane. They need it to clear lane, and they generally, mana intensive. So those gods include AMC, Cupid, Medusa, Neith, Uller, and I include Jablonka in this, but he's actually a late game god, so if you can manage your stacks correctly and stuff, I would go Devos, but it's up to you. Jablonka is sort of on his own. But definitely AMC, Cupid, Medusa, and Uller. So let's look at Uller. Let's look at Uller. So the Tier 2 Transcendence build is you build straight into Transcendence number 2. You build 3 health pots. 1, 2, 3. And 3 mana pots. Now you're not going to get any lifesteal with this build. Through Morningstar, it just gives you mana MP5. It does help you clear lane with the physical power, so you're good in that regard, but no lifesteal. That's why you're building the 3 pots, to help yourself not to die. You make sure you want to sustain through that. 3 mana pots just help you sustain the mana. That's what you're going for in this build. You back at the same time as Devo, so it's good for that. You back at 1400 gold to pick up your Transcendence. When you back for your Transcendence, if you have any mana pots left, I just sell them at that point. You don't need them. Take the 33 gold back that you're going to get for selling them. Buy a ward with it. Buy a few health pots because you still have no sustain. And just keep pressuring lane. The goal when you pick ability-based gods is you're going to win the early game, and you want to make sure you're winning the early game. So clear that lane, make sure you're clearing lane efficiently, and then start poking as much as you can. So you can try and get a kill in. Depending how comfortable you feel about who you're against and things along those lines, you can build one of 2 ways. You can build into either Boots first, or you can build into Soul Eater first. If you're not feeling too comfortable and you you think you need the life steal, go into Soul Eater. It's fine to go in afterwards. The 300 health is great for late game, helps you survive. Maybe attacks you would have died. Maybe a Kraken would have one-shot you, but the 300 health from Soul Eater, saves your life. Very important. 20% life steal, 15% attack speed, pretty basic, and the aura on it is great for helping you box. It's honestly a completely overpowered item. I do expect it to get nerfed soon, but when that time comes, it will come. After that, you build into boots. Warrior Tabby. You're an ability-based god. You don't rely on attacks, you rely on your abilities to kill other people, so that's what you do. Right here is your biggest power spike. Actually, when you first build Transcendence, it's a huge power spike. If the other person's building Devos, you can poke them out more. And here you have a huge power spike, and you're going to be looking to pressuring really hard. After this, you just continue the standard build into Executioner to melt through the team fights. Then you can either look at Rage and Deathbringer. It's generally what I look at. Or you can build something else, like if they're really tanky, like I said before, go into Kinsai, something along those lines. But the reason why you're building this build is for mana, not so much... it's because you're gonna be losing a lot of mana, you need a lot of mana, and this will still be really strong late game. Now, the two new builds I want to talk about are the ones that are coming in just after this patch on Bluestone. So a build that a lot of you might have seen, I'll call it the Barracuda build, because that's what he quoted it himself. Shout out to Barracuda. And that's Bluestone building into Transcendence. So you're going to build Bluestone, Morningstar, and 1 mana pot for mana sustain. Morningstar just starts you on Transcendence, gives you 10 physical power. Bluestone's the important one here. Gives you 20 physical power, 100 mana, which it's 100 mana, it's like whatever, maybe 1 spell. And enemies hit by your damaging abilities take an additional 30 physical damage over 2 seconds. So that's anything that happens at this point is good for you. So for example, AMC has his big ball of bees. I don't even know what it's called. Can't think of it right now. His swarm, there you go. His swarm will do 30 extra damage every time it hits a minion or god. His honey will do extra damage because it's ticking. And his stinger will do extra damage once you level that up. So this will just help you clear lane faster. If you hit the god, it gives you more poke on the enemy god. It gives you a lot of sustain. So after this, after Morningstar, you build straight into Transcendence. Actually, before I talk about moving into that, you're not going to make it to your full Transcendence build with just this. What you're going to want to do eventually is you're going to want to back just to buy Transcendence number 2. Okay? You're not going to make it to the full gold you need to build Range of Transcendence. Get Transcendence number 2. Actually, I'll move this down one row. Get Transcendence number 2. Pick up another health pot, another mana pot, maybe 2. Depending what you feel like you need, what you're backing with. This will give you more sustain in the lane and help you moving forward, and it will guarantee you don't die. So you keep pushing wave, that's your goal. You want to poke with the enemy god, you want to go for kills. You'll build Transcendence. You'll build into Soul Eater. You'll build into Boots. You'll build into Executioner. AMC I would build into Fatalis, myself personally. You don't have to, you can build into Rage. You can build into Deathbringer. If you feel like you're having trouble working your way in the front, you need help positioning, build into Fatalis instead of Deathbringer. Tons of options there. But the big thing here is to change to the early build, and keep that in mind. Very strong build. I haven't played around with it enough myself. I still enjoy going regular to Transcendence, but a lot of people are enjoying this. And last but not least, I want to talk about the Ally build. This is something that I really like, actually. I just tried it. And I do enjoy it. Wow. What am I doing? So let's look at the Ally build here. What did Ally play on the other day that I saw him? I think it was Medusa. So he also goes Bluestone. Bluestone, people think it's overpowered. I think it is as well. More so in the Sun Wukong department than I do anywhere else. But he'll build Bluestone. He'll build level 1 boots. And he will build 3 health pots. And 4 mana pots. And you'll say, but Manchies, I still have 50 gold left over. That's fine, don't worry about it. Save the 50 gold, it'll help you back possibly a little bit sooner. And this is all you really need to help you sustain. Bluestone helps you with Wayne Clear, helps you with poking. It's great for Medusa. Her acid spray does a lot of damage. Lacerate does damage. Viper Shot does damage. Literally all her abilities proc Bluestone. It's amazing. He builds into boots first, which is different, and I'll tell you why he does that. And then these are just for sustain and lane. Now your main question is, well, what about my stacking items? This is the one build where you don't build stacking items. This is where you really want to win the early game. So the first thing he's going to build into is the Warrior's Tabi. So this will be an instant power increase. You have 40 physical power right off the bat. The reason why this is so powerful is, one, you're backing before they're even done stacking their Devos or Transcendence, and you're starting off with 40 physical power, opposed to the other team starting out with 25 physical power or something like that. So you're already ahead, you're clearing lane faster in there, you can get a lot of poke. After boots, he goes into, I want to say, Soul Eater. Soul Eater gives you the health sustain, gives you mana sustain, helps you late game. After the Soul Eater, he actually goes into Ikavo, helps you box. These are all huge power spike items that don't require time to ramp up. He's hitting you so hard and so efficiently with his gold before you're getting your stacks done, before you're starting to turn online. If someone is playing this against you, you're probably going to want to play really passive. I don't know if you'll be able to outbox them. If maybe you're just extremely skilled, you can do that, but they're going to have a huge power increase on you. After that, you go into Executioner. I'm at 4 items. Go into Rage. Go into Deathbringer. Or if you don't want to go into Rage and Deathbringer, go into Fatalis. Things like that. So these are the 4 builds I consider you to look at. If you don't know what to do, I would just start with the first 2 builds I talked about. The Devos build for the Autotex Glove and the level 2 Transcendence. Those are super safe builds, they'll work for you every time. And once you feel a little bit more comfortable, maybe work yourself into a Bluestone build. Try it out, it's a really, really good item. And it's something I would recommend. If you guys did enjoy the video, like I said, please drop a like and a subscribe on the channel. Please come check out my YouTube, drop a follow, or sorry, not my YouTube, my Twitch, drop a follow there. Come enjoy. Would love to have you as a viewer, enjoy your company as well. And I will be posting more videos on here as soon as possible. If you guys have any recommendations on what you want me to cover, please let me know. I'll cover anything you want about hunters. If you want me to play a certain god or something like that, let me know. And hope you guys have a great day. Hope to see you soon in the Twitch chat and see you in the comments here. Have a great one, guys. Cheers.